And there are three very important ideas. The first one is about the generative, transformational nature of all things. The second idea is the unstoppable nature of life. And the third idea is the interconnectedness of all things. I'll say a quick word about all three, and then I will say a longer word in a moment. The first idea, which is the generative, transformational nature of all things, is that if we have one item, that item in itself has the power to become more and more and more. Now, if you think, for example, of a flower, when those flowers began their life, they were tiny seeds under the ground. You couldn't see them. And they grew. And they grew into flowers. If you think of all the trees in the forest, at one time they were seeds in the ground, and now they are trees. And working together, the trees become a forest. I started working here in Doha in October last year. And when I first went into your beautiful city, I saw the lovely buildings. I think Doha City is an absolute work of art. It is a beautiful, creative work of art. I love it. And yet you can see the city itself is growing. And the people in the city are growing. The city is not just the buildings. The city is the people. The university is not a building. The university is the people. And it is the people who are growing all the time. So I'm going to go back to that idea of the generative, transformational power of all things. And I did my master's degree in linguistics, so I was very much influenced by the work of Chomsky, and I borrowed this idea from him, with his permission, I have to say. I went to visit him twice, and he has always been a very good friend and a great supporter of the work that I do. The second idea is the unstoppable nature of life. Just look at this picture. You can see that on my website and various other places. If you think about life, I know, unfortunately, we all have to die. That's a given. And as I said earlier, my only complaint about life is that I have to die sometime. But even when we die, we have influence. And if that is the case, what more can we achieve when we are alive? But it is our choice. It is our choice whether or not we use our influence and how we use our influence. Do we use our influence educationally? Do we use our influence for social good? Do we actually try to influence people to the sense that when we leave them, they think, my life is richer, I am thinking better things, I am doing better things. That is our choice. But life is unstoppable. Life goes on. Even when we are not here, life goes on. As teachers, as educators, what do we do in order to improve the quality of living for all people? Not only for ourselves, but for all people. How do we contribute to to social benefit. And we go on to this idea around the interconnectedness of all things. I live in the United Kingdom, I live in England, but I work in Iceland and South Africa and Japan and China and everywhere, and Qatar. And the work that I do influences other people, so that the work that they do influences other people. And working together as a body of people, we have the influence to the power of 1,000,000. All things are connected. Nothing is separate. People, places, ideas, thoughts, everything is interconnected. It's like the iceberg. You see only the top of the iceberg, but underneath it is all connected. You and I and all of us are connected together. And here's the work of one person, Miss Amal. Do you want to stand up, Miss Amal, and take a bow? This is Miss Amal, who gave me her permission to put her photograph here, and you've done some fantastic work. Do you want to say something about your work? You can come here and speak with the microphone. Miss Amal didn't know this was going to happen, so it's lovely that she's going to do this. Or you can speak into this.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I just say thank you for everybody, and thank you for Professor Jean, because I learned a lot from her and from the practices that I had with her. And according to based on what I did in my actual research, is that I did it. Shall I speak about it?
Please.
Okay. Maybe we had a different way of doing the actual research after I got our training with Professor Jean and the team that Tribal Company, which is the workshop of the action research. And after that, we did our actual research about how to improve the parents' communication using the technology in our school, which is Al Salam Independent School. So I have a poster presentation at this conference, so if anybody can visit our conference, we can see this poster presentation and evidence that we had in our action research. This action research also is done by me and by my colleague, Ilham Mahsen, which is the ICT teacher in Al Salam School. Thank you so much for everybody.
Thank you. And we also have, is it possible to just wave our bulletin in the air? We are going to go into print, and you can see that the work of the teachers will be made public and disseminated in Qatar. And again, that is an absolute joy. It is another vehicle for influence and for getting around the work of the teachers. Here are some more teachers, and I see that some of our colleagues here, Dr. Salah, do you want to just wave out to us, Dr. Salah? Thank you very much. It's lovely to see you here. And other colleagues there, Mr. Aisan, do you want to wave to us? And it's lovely. Are any other colleagues here in that photograph? It's lovely that we can see colleagues here working together and collectively. You see the point that we are making. We are coming together. It's not just one person, it's one person working with other one persons, and we become collectives. And this is what we are doing at this university, Dr. Ramsey. Isn't that so? That you've got your collaborative circles going on here. We are working collaboratively and collectively and having national influence, and we hope that will then become international influence, and that's how it works.